I'm now with Alan Buttle, the owner of the best car in show. Good afternoon, Alan.
Hello.
But were you surprised to get the...
Absolutely amazed. In fact, when I walked up to get it, Buzz Townsend was sitting at the front, and he said under his breath, "Surprised, aren't you?" That's an understatement.
So how long have you owned the car?
I've owned it about 15 years.
Can you tell me a brief spec about it?
Right, it was actually built about 25 years ago. The idea was conceived by a gentleman, George Hamill, who lives in Canterbury, and Richard Nixie, who is a superb craftsman, worked with him, and between them they actually constructed the car in much the same way that the original was constructed in 1950.
So how long did it take them to do that?
It took them about 4 or 5 years, and then I acquired it about 15 years ago. George had a lot of fun with it, but of course it had been taken out in all weathers, and there were certain aspects of the mechanics that weren't quite right as well. The club, in the P4 Guild Club, tipped me off that it was probably going to become available and suggested that I acquired it. And it's been a labour of love. I think we've definitely sorted out all the mechanical problems now, and over the last 4 or 5 years it's run perfectly.
So how often do you use it then?
5 or 6 times during the year we go to shows. It is a road legal car now because it's got a V8 in the front as well as the turbine, so it is road legal. Obviously I only go on sunny dry days. There's no hood. It was a prototype. There's no all-weather equipment, although I do have a cover in the boot just in case. But I go to perhaps 5 or 6 shows a year.
I bet you get a lot of interest though when you're...
Absolutely. I mean, just one off-the-cuff tale. 2 years ago I took it to Shugborough Hall. And unknown to me, there was a young man who'd seen the car, and a year later at Atherstone he come over to me and he says, "I want to thank you." He says, "I saw the car at Shugborough Hall. I went away. A week later I applied for an apprenticeship at Rolls-Royce." He says, "And I got it and I'm working there now." And I thought, that's fantastic. Yeah.
So you've won the car. You won the car of the show, which
yes,
you're amazed.
Yes.
So where do you go from here now?
Just carry on enjoying the car, and if it encourages the younger generation, that's fine. When I'm no longer able to drive it, or I've gone, it's going to Coventry Transport Museum. They bit my hand off. They'd like to have it. Obviously, yes, it's a replica, but the original is in such a poor state in the Kensington Science Museum that really this would now be a reference for them to have at Coventry Transport Museum.
Well, it'll be looked after there, won't it?
I think it's a wonderful museum, yes.
Well, thanks very much, Alan, for the interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.